Hey everybody, Josh RV here to Bish's RV, and we got a new floor plan alert for it. Well, it's technically new. It's a floor plan you've definitely seen in the industry before, but now Jayco officially has their Jay Feather version of it. They always had a not quite this camper in Jay Feather and a not quite this camper in White Hawk, but Jay Feather and White Hawk have merged, and here it is, basically. So since everybody and their brother builds this, this is actually a really good floor plan if you are cross-comparing and shopping out there in the industry. Whether you're looking at something like Jay Feather, Imagine, Heritage Glen, Hemisphere, etc. Tons of brands build this layout. So what is Jayco bringing to the table? Well, first of all, double the warranty of pretty much anybody else. Puts them into a class essentially of their own. They have a great extended season weather package, but at this point, who doesn't? Every manufacturer has their claims. Certainly, Jay Feather's really good about maximizing awning space. This also has a terrific bunk cargo arrangement. You can get it with 1 or 2 air conditioners, and we're looking at one of these today with pretty much nearly every option that's available beyond the new super slide super sofa. Like if you don't like a dinette and you want just a full slide out sofa seating situation, that actually is available on one of these. We also have double ASDEL, which very few builders in this class do. If you don't know what that means, basically instead of wood paneling in the walls, they're using composite paneling on both the inside and outside layers. Now this has 200 watts of factory solar, but the ability to double that essentially, and it is prepped for up to a 2,000 watt inverter. The pass-through storage in the front is huge and very nicely finished as well. That's one of those little areas I always ask myself, where does a manufacturer not expect a customer to look? And if they're doing something nice and cleanly finishing something in those areas, that's usually an indicator that they're going to some extra efforts in other areas that you also can't see, like plywood roof decking instead of OSB decking, like most brands have. Now, the travel access isn't the greatest. The campsite window coverage basically sucks. I'm going to try to be very fair with you as we go through this today. It's got great quality. It's got things you might not like, and I want to help smoke those out from the comfort of your couch. And if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button. Let's go. So I'm currently a guest over here at Jayco. I'm actually kind of in the area where they do some final finish checks and some of their own media work. And I'm kind of sharing some space with their media staff today. They needed to black the lights out for some photo shoots. So we're going to get some night mode footage. But the thing is, once we step inside, you really can't tell, because Jayco's really, for a long time, been very good about doing an aggressive lighting package on these things. They have, as long as you're staring at it, multiple different furniture arrangements, but they've gone to exclusively cloth touch this year. So the dining, the sofa, it's all there's no more pleather. There's no more of that stuff that it can peel and flake, and it's kind of become really a thing in the industry where some of that stuff used to be better than it is, but it feels like it just maybe got kind of nickel and dimed and Mickey Moused over the years, and seems like slowly moving back away from it. Everything does tend to be cyclical. Now we're looking at several options. This RV is outfitted with almost every option that this floor plan can actually accept. So by default, it'd be a single 13,500 BTU air conditioner. You can option up to a 15,000 BTU central air. You can also option a second AC in the bedroom, which is what we're going to see today. This RV also has their, I'm pretty sure this is optional, in command package as opposed to just physical switches. So if you want to go with a smart command system that does integrate TPMS, that is something that you have the option of doing here. One of the things that I like about it is that if you do want to open and close your awnings and slides, you can actually do that right here without necessarily needing to go into the touch panel. And you have direct access to things like light switches, which is actually really, really handy. And the thing above it, by the way, is your controller for your on-demand water heater. Ooh, I don't like that flicker on screen. I don't want that to bother somebody's eyes. Sorry about that. Now, the RV has a light, bright color palette, and again, a very aggressive lighting package, which helps make it look and feel big. And sometimes I think the scope and scale of an RV gets skewed on camera, but it is 6.5 foot tall inside. It's an industry standard sidewall height. It's not extra tall. It doesn't have a barreled roof or anything like that, so you're going to want to kind of keep that in mind. The thing is, this floor plan is, geez, can we just say done to death in the industry? But it's a good floor plan. Like, it's a good family camping floor plan. It gives us good entertainment, good seating, good dining. You've got the thing that it doesn't do very well is campside windows. We have big windows over here, but not on the campsite. And sometimes people go, well, just flip it. Why don't you just flip the floor plan? If I back up here, one of the things that you notice is directly in front of the door is part of the slide out. That's the reason you can't flip it. The sofa and the dinette don't fit where the kitchen is. You can't flip this layout unless you add 2 feet to it. And that suddenly changes the links, the weights, the tow vehicle, a lot of the equation. So the entry door is the reason we don't get a lot of campside window coverage. Maybe that helps. It doesn't change the fact that maybe you don't like this RV, but that's the why. And one of the things with those U dinettes, they actually get a little bit tight around the backside of that bench, which is one of the reasons that I like a free floating table, because it lets you sort of shift and adjust the table a little bit. But I want to be totally candid and fair. What we call a floor flush slide in the RV industry is not truly floor flush, so it is possible you could actually, I'm going to see if I can try to give you a visual of this on camera, because the main floor and the slide floor match, which I love, but it makes it hard to see that there actually still is a little bit of a lip right there. So if that table runs over the edge of it, your table wouldn't be flat level. So kind of keep that in mind. You might have noticed, though, carpetless and ventless. More and more and more RVs are starting to adopt that, to the rejoice of many, many people. This model gives us decent counter space. So there's a lot of builders who make a version of a floor plan like this. Some builders will make it without a U dinette. They'll use just a standard 2-bench dinette. But the thing is, that makes the driver's side of the RV shorter, because a U dinette, a true one like this, is longer. And if the driver's side is shorter, then the passenger side where the kitchen is would have to be shorter. So the fact that this RV has a U dinette means it's a little bit longer, a little heavier, a little more expensive, but it also gains some kitchen counter space and some storage as a result. It's kind of funny how sometimes the left and the right sides of the RV play along with one another, kind of like the way that the entry door is the reason we don't have campside window coverage. Now, another reason we don't have campside window coverage is the fact that they went with a full-on, big, bulky, blocky pantry-tainment center, but it gives us a lot of storage behind the entertainment and the fireplace right here. And things like that fireplace, that stuff that used to be mostly only White Hawk kind of equipment, that's now, because they've merged, featured in the Jay Feather family. Now, the TV is essentially at eye level. I've got the camera, I'm sitting off to the side. The camera's over the armrest, by the way. You can see my reflection. My head's in the right seat. The middle of the theater seat is right in line with the middle of the TV, so I don't think you can do much better. And I've got the camera right at my head height. This is about as most of a direct entertainment viewing entertainment centers you can get. Now, if I put pull the camera directly in front of me, that's what you're looking at. But again, I don't think going like that with your head is a major, major ask. I appreciate that they did mount the TV all the way up against the ceiling. Now, speaking of up against the ceiling, as long as we're sitting down here and have a good angle on it, each room, by default, will have a power vent fan. The living room and kitchen get the bigger fan. The bathroom gets a smaller one. Normally, the bedroom gets a smaller one. Bigger fan for bigger room. The thing is, in this floor plan, if you add the second air conditioner in the bedroom, you will lose the power vent fan in the bedroom, but you still have cross breeze windows. So I don't know that it's too awful much of a problem. And I mentioned how behind it is this big bulky entertainment center. Some manufacturers, or storage area rather, some manufacturers have been getting rid of this recently, which allows them to maximize things like countertop space and maybe add a small amount of extra campside window coverage, but not a ton. Some people like that. Some people like how it makes the RV look and feel more open. Some people really love this, how we just get crazy good storage capacity. And perfect little spot to like keep some shoes tucked away when you kind of get back to the RV, you know. Now, as long as we're cracking open all the storage here, I figured I might as well just roll that beautiful bean footage and keep all of it going right here. The cabinetry is all pocket screwed lumber core. So if you don't know what that means, if you're new at this, that just means that it's not staples and beaver puke holding everything together. It's actually screws into wood. There's still sticker veneer wrap. You know, this is not the highest level of RV cabinetry that you could ever run into, but it's certainly not the lowest and the most basic either. Now, this year they have gone to a larger 10 cubic foot fridge. Feathers used to have more of an 8 cubic variety. Again, that's one of those White Hawk DNA features that got kind of absorbed into Jay Feather when they effectively merged this past season. You might notice, though, again, just trying to be ultra fair, one thing I'd like to point out, this kitchen does lack a dedicated place for a wastebasket, but I think I know how I would personally work around that. They give us a exceptionally large, like sliding pocket privacy bedroom door over here to the left of the kitchen cabinetry, you know, to the left of the sink. There's a lot of space right there. I just set a wastebasket. You're going to have to move it when you close the slide, but I could deal with that. It's not going to be in the way of anything. Now, this dinette, there's also storage, you know, all the way below that. They give you doors for easy access to the lion's share of it. And this is what I call a true U dinette. This is a larger, like adult-sized sleeper if need be. They also have, by the way, if you don't like the theater seat, if you prefer a hide-a-bed, you can do that. Or you can get their new, like, super lounger, which essentially gives you both a theater seat and a hide-a-bed, but no dinette. What do you think about that? You know, it feels like something that might be more popular in couples models, but in a bunkhouse like this, would you personally go with the super lounger? And would you personally go with the optional king bed that we're looking at today? Historically, Jay Feathers, they used to have a short queen bed. Then I think like last year, they finally adopted a 60 by 80 true queen. And now you can actually option in a king bed. And having an optional bed arrangement in travel trailers has become exceptionally uncommon because it means they have to build 2 sets of cabinetry in the factory. Most factories won't do that. So you have to build these hanging wardrobe towers and the cabinets above it. You have to build 2 sets of those to fit each bed because there's no overlap. You know, like some brands, what they'll do is they'll just use queen-sized overhead cabinetry, but with a king-size bed below, so there's an overlap. They're not doing that here. Like the side stands, the wardrobe towers get a little bit thinner, and they kind of custom craft each arrangement to what's going to best fit you. Now, a couple things I want to point out here. You can obviously see how that becomes a drawer, effectively. What you can't see, because it's black on dark brown back there, there is a wireless phone charge pad, as well as a set of USB plugs up by the headboard area. So you do have phone charging capacity in this. If I peek you over to the right just a second, you might also notice this RV has a direct entry door straight into the bedroom. That's a secret Mouska tool that'll help us later when it comes into road mode. That will allow us to get up to the bedroom when the super slide is closed, because from the other door next to the bunks, it'll block you off. Here's the thing. There's actually kind of a secondary benefit and function of that makes a lot of sense to me, anyway, in a bunkhouse. It's still okay if you don't like it. If you put the kids to bed and then you want to stay up a little bit, the thing is, if you open and close that door and have to kind of slam the door shut a little bit right next to the bunks, you're going to wake up the kids. And this design prevents the potential need for that. So if you do put the kids to bed and you stay up a little bit, you know, having a couple drinks, shooting the breeze, maybe chatting around the campfire, farting around the campfire with the neighbors, depending on what you had for dinner. I don't know your life. But you get the idea. You can come and go from this door and not necessarily make as much noise. By the way, the RV's converter panel fuse box is in a brilliant location, so it's easily travel accessible and the kids can't get to it. Well, obviously, you know, if they sneak past you and get up into your bedroom, they can. You may have noticed there actually was a heat vent for the bedroom in there as well. I want to point that out because I have seen manufacturers and their representatives sometimes have some pretty egregious oversights out there, like forgetting to pump heat into a bedroom or a bunk room. It actually has happened a shockingly large number of times. I'm sure you can't imagine that by any stretch, but yeah, that's possible. So again, today we're looking at the theater seat. Hide-a-bed sleeper sofa is optionally available, as well as that full-on like super slide super sofa that some people really, I kind of like the idea of it. I really, really do. At my house, we do eat at the kitchen dinner table. Sometimes we don't, though. You know, sometimes we are just all off on the couch watching. I don't know why America's Got Talent jumped in my head, but there you go, that show. Jayco bunks. They're each the double bunks like this are rated for 600 pounds. That's double the industry standard, so that's pretty awesome. And Jay Feather's really good at giving each bunk its own privacy curtain, window, power outlets, household and USB, and the handy little phone charger pocket. And this model right here obviously gives us the move bunk, get out the way cargo system, where while you're traveling, when the super slide is closed, you can give this thing a kayakoscopy, as I have adopted calling it. If you notice, you will actually have a straight line past the kitchen cabinetry all the way up through here. I think even if you had like a 14-foot double-seater kayak, you could probably still fit stuff in here. By the way, a couple things over here. One, our solar charge controller, and this right here is a thermistor. This is a temperature sensor, and probably not an FBI listening device. That, never mind. Big sink, big stainless sink too, and the faucet's slightly high-rise, enough that it's kind of out of the way, so I appreciate that. I also really love the fact that they just gave you a place for a hand towel that won't drape down into the sink. And there's something about a window in the bathroom that just churches the place up. I'd never have that window open, but it would be nice. I don't know if I overtly mentioned this previously either, but stupid, come here. Your windows have the nice blackout slow rise roller shades as well. Now this RV is 6.5 foot tall floor to ceiling, which means my head's up in the skylight. No question about that, just no avoiding it. You might notice too, it does have one of those retractable kind of sort of like self-squeegee shower door kind of things. And the space around the toilet's not bad, although the leg room, if you got long legs like mine, feels a little funny. I couldn't find a comfy spot for my left leg, but it's not. I'm not gonna knock it too hard. It's like that's not the biggest deal for me. You know, I'm not gonna buy or not buy a bathroom just because my left foot felt a little funny in the bathroom. But if that's a deal breaker for you, I respect it because you work hard for that money. So hard for it, honey. Now, road mode might be a point of contention for some folks. The thing is, when the slide's closed, you can get to the fridge, you can get to the sink, you can get to your kitchen drawers. That is absolutely readily available. The bathroom door, I'm going to swing you very slowly to the left so you can see. I know everything's up in your face right now. I'm also trying not to walk backwards out the door and hurt myself. The bathroom door can easily swing open and close, so you're not going to cause any problems there. Once again, let me kind of give you the kayak's point of view from the kayakoscopy, as it were, as we whip around the corner over here, assuming you have this, you know, open and loaded up. But I mean, straight up that kitchen. There's really not a whole lot in the way. So you do have a long potential loading space, which this thing is also nice that they give you some cargo tie-down rings in the back area right here. Just sometimes simple little things like that really are useful. But again, we have a second door to get us up to the bedroom. If you are going to make a overnight stopover, stayover, you can get to the kitchen, the bathroom, you can get to all the sleeping, and that's really the holy trinity of travel access. But it is what I'll also call two-stage travel access, which some folks just really don't like, you know. I just want to point out what each RV has, what each RV lacks, and let you decide what works. Something I haven't talked about, though, Jay Feather has upgraded their bedding this year. Beds are very subjective. There's going to be just as many people who love this as hate this, but I love the fact that they're at least trying, and it's not the same crappy backbreaker death wafer the entire industry's been using for years. So let's talk towing. What kind of truck are you going to need to move this thing around? And the answer to that kind of depends a little bit on the terrain you might be going through. With the gross vehicle weight, the maximum weight rating of this, and the 32-foot length, it's definitely at the upper end of what should even be thought of as half-ton towable. Now, if you live in the Rocky Mountains, I don't think this is half-ton towable. If you live in flatland cornfield country where I live and you have a late model very capable half-ton, you can do it. But keep in mind, where you take the RV will be a major factor in, right along with just, if you just call someplace, this is actually a really good test. Call any dealership and say, hey, could my half-ton tow that? If they don't go, tell me about your half-ton and tell me about how you're going to use the RV, get away from them because they will say anything to get your money. That's the thing that you want to hear, basically. Now, of course, power tongue jack up front, but notice that blue sticker. This RV doesn't use the traditional Lippert I-beam frame. It actually is on a Norco huck-bolted chassis. It's more of a Z-frame, essentially. They are also using a better grade of stabilizers. The quick-drop stabilizers, or as Jayco calls it, rock solid, brother. And they work. They work really well, especially in a bunkhouse with a lot of little marshmallow-infused bodies running around this thing. It's actually really nice to have a little bit of extra stability put in there. You might notice, too, the front pass-through has the slam latches and the magnet holdbacks. Not the rest of the exterior baggage doors where present will not. So kind of keep that in mind. I want you to understand what you're looking at. But again, I love how they fully finished this pass-through. It is so clean. Look in the upper right corner. They add a couple little magnet holdbacks where you can keep your jack cranks and stuff, so they're not just sliding all over the place down in here. That's also, you see that marker light right there, this is prepped and ready for a full observation camera suite. So if you want a rear camera and or side cameras to double check a blind spot, you can do that. Now, at a glance, it looks like they cheesed the awning because it doesn't go over the bedroom door. They didn't. It's a very good sized awning. It's just the RV from tip to tail is 32 feet. It's a lot of sidewall. So what they did is instead of covering a bedroom door that a lot of people don't use often, they covered the camp kitchen that a lot of people really like to have covered by the awning. So personally, I think that if they were only going to cover one or the other, I think they did it the right way that services the most people. But that's my opinion, man. What do you think about it? I don't know. Which way would you like to go with this? Now, the underbelly is enclosed and it is forced air heated. And there's just so many cockamamie weather rating stories in the RV industry. Everyone, is it 4 seasons? No RV really is. I don't care what the sticker on the camper says. Join a Facebook full-time RV group as soon as the temperatures start dropping below freezing, and look at the number of people who go, why is there frost inside of my camper's cabinets? That's because, unfortunately, you were sold on the 4 seasons, essentially, myth that I really dislike. So it's just, that's a soapbox I'll probably always get on. You can see the on-demand water heater. I don't love its location. I don't like the location of the furnace and the water heater on this because they're over on the campsite of the RV where the kids might be, but there's no way to get around it on this floor plan unless you sacrifice either the camp kitchen or the bunk cargo space. If you want the camp kitchen and the bunk cargo space, there's nowhere else to put a water heater on this. Or you could sacrifice the front pass-through. But basically, you're going to have to give to get. There's just no other way. Hold on. I'm eyeballing this. I'm wondering if the entry door is going to cover the hot air exhaust on the water heater standby. Because in the summertime, I could see you having this door open. This is an anti-slam door, by the way. Holy crap, man. That's as close as it could possibly get. I still don't love it. I still don't love the proximity of that. But thankfully, this right here is metal. But man, it could still get hot. So keep in mind, just I guess, log that in your memory banks. Now, I showed you the tires. They are Goodyears. And you, when you get the in-command system, you actually also get tire pressure monitoring integrated into that, which is kind of nice. You can monitor that all off your phone while you're traveling down the highway, essentially. 250-pound rated ladder on the back, so no need to get a telescopic, no need to occupy extra storage space. What I don't recommend is strapping crap to the ladder. Don't strap chairs, don't strap bikes, don't strap your blue tote tank honey wagons. The ladders are not supposed to be used for cargoing, which is now a word that I have just coined, by the way. And coining a word is not a phrase I get to use very often, despite all my stupid nerdisms, but you get the idea. I know some people say, well, what else am I supposed to do? I don't have an answer to all the questions. I know what you're not supposed to do. And the problem is, again, sometimes people don't ask you enough questions before you buy the camper so that you know what to do or not to do or what to get. The camp kitchenette that we're looking at here is factory standard. Pardon my nuclear caffeinated drink. I love the smell of coffee. I never got into the taste of it. The moment it hits my lips, I get those whiskey shivers. Like Dr. Frankenfurter, coffee just makes me shake. People either understand the Rocky Horror Picture Show references or they absolutely don't. There's literally only 2 types of people. It's actually a really good test too. If you meet strangers at the campground, if you're wondering if you really want to be friends with them, ask them, do you like the Rocky Horror Picture Show? Yes or no? And very quickly, you're going to find people that you do or don't jive with. It's just that simple, you know? Now, again, we've already kind of looked up the backside of this thing with this door open, but one of the things I want to kind of point out here is it does deadbolt for security, and the latch, the deadbolt latch actually exists below the bunk level. So if you're worried about your kids sneaking out at night, they'd make just as much noise sneaking out of that as they would the entry door right next to the bunks, but at least that one, you can deadbolt in a way that is not going to be easy for them to access. Now, in our early footage, I gave you 2 peeks at the roof. First of all, you saw the 200-watt solar panel. Then you saw the optional second air conditioner. There's also an optional 400-watt solar package, where it's 2 of those panels, that also includes a 2,000-watt inverter on the RV. Sometimes people ask, well, what's the maximum size inverter you can add to this RV? 2,000 watts. The wiring gauge, basically, is it can't support more than that. Now, couple really cool things before we wrap up here. This is a single sewer outlet camper. A lot of builders who make this RV, you'll have a second sewer outlet all the way like in front of the slide, and this one does not have it. But you also have that stinky slinky sewer tube handy dandy right there waiting for you. Additionally, all of our windows, except for the window in the door, open for airflow. But with the eye shadowing they have between them, it just looks like a mega window. I don't know that you're going to be seeing this side of the RV as much, but it does look cool. Now, the back side of the dinette, like the front 2 benches, the side benches, they have doors, rather, not drawers. So what do you do about the back side? Well, you can either take apart the entire dinette, or you can just use it as bonus exterior storage. And I love that they added that extra little feature right there. That's something that Rockwood has done a lot for so many years that I am very happy to see a few other manufacturers pick up a couple of those notes. So thanks you. Yep, forget it. Thanks you, everybody, for tuning in today. I think I just had a stroke. There's going to be some links in the video description. Whether you're curious or whether you're serious about the price tag, it'll be listed right there for you for any of these that we have in stock. Usually we have at least MSRP to give you an idea, but typically we have actual pricing, and we don't pack on hidden fees on top of that for you. So apologies for the convenience. We only do everything else. When you're ready, we're ready. I will also leave you a bunch of links to other builders who have made a floor plan like this, at least 2 or 3 others for you to take a look at, because there's a laundry list of them. Let me know which one you would go with and why. If it was your money on the line, which builder of this layout would you personally choose? I'd love to know, and why. And short of that, would love to see you next time. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.